You are not alone. Hey kids, this is what SprintX is telling hundreds of entrepreneurs and talented teams that are looking for a way to launch their own business. They have identified these needs of the startups of today to build the industries of tomorrow. SprintX is developing business ideas, plus launching the promotion of their future ICOs, plus listing them on SprintX's own exchange. SprintX is unleashing a new age of support for startups and ICOs, and you can be part of it. ICOs have had legal issues, scams are rampant, and fake projects taint the reputation of legitimate ones. SprintX will filter and verify all startups doing ICOs as legitimate companies that will follow a strict business discipline so they become profitable and successful for all investors. Startups have issues after doing their ICOs to convert their funds since most are done raised in crypto, but need to be cashed into fiat afterwards. SprintX will use SwitchX as crypto and fiat exchange. That will convert and embrace crypto and fiat, conforming to laws and regulations while supporting cryptocurrencies for all of our investors and users. Lastly, SprintX will use Nova as the startup incubator that will accelerate growth for all of the startups they support and build their first ever tech hub for startups in LATAM. This means entrepreneurs from all over the world can come to Nova and develop their companies in a tech hub that will be turned into a real crypto smart city. It's almost like Disneyland for people in crypto and people who are smart and people that want to live in a city. Visit SprintX.io to learn more and sign up now. Tell them Crypto the Wonder Dog sent you. And when you're there, watch for little crypto underdogs roaming the streets and scratch them on the head. They won't bite. Toss them a Bitcoin and they'll go sit under a shade tree and enjoy the afternoon. Okay. Let's get to the program. Hey kids, Dean from Crypto the Wonder Dog. Hey, this week I was at Crypto Invest Summit. I met some great people there, man. It was so much fun. We did a few interviews from the floor, and I think that we made a lot of friends. We're going to be going to some certain companies, businesses, checking them out, talking with them, having fun. The after parties were where it's at, man. It was so much fun. These guys put on a great show, Crypto Invest Summit, and I think they'll be having more shows here and there, but it was a lot of fun. Met some great people that I've done shows with in the past, never met them in person, and met some guys that we'll be doing shows with in the future. Walked around, I think I walked about 1,000 miles. Parking was not that bad if you had to park, but a lot of people were just flying in for the day, some people were there for 1 day, 2 days, some people were there all 3 days. First night was at the Grammy Museum over by the LA Convention Center. It was an upstairs party on the balcony. Oh man, it was great, just looking out over the city, the lights. It was wonderful. It wasn't too cold. Great drinks were flowing there. And then the next night we stumbled into a couple of different parties. One was at this place downtown. Met a guy named Graham Goddard who runs a company called allpublicart.com, and they put on a little performance there. So we did a show with him. I'll be putting that up pretty soon. But today we did a show with our buddy Kyle Forkey, and he, as you know, remember from one of our earlier shows, MoriaToken.com, and he's an advisor there. He also has a company, fmint.io, and they help businesses raise funds through ICO, but he doesn't just take anybody on. He's there, they weed out the riffraff, and they're only going after the guys that want to comply, because there's a lot of rules, especially here in the U.S., man. You just got to jump through so many freaking hoops, and then once you get through those hoops, the SEC is not going to let Americans buy this stuff. So if you have a voice out there, man, if you got some kind of voice, talk to somebody and let's get some kind of movement going where we can talk to people in Congress. Get this ridiculous law that was passed in the 30s. These laws, and I don't read much, but the ridiculous laws. Let's get those changed. All right. So it's and moving coins back and forth between wallets. Why would you tax that? I mean, my God, if you move it a few times, you'd be out of tokens, and the government has all your crypto, and they don't know what the hell to do with it. So let's get some people in there that actually know what the hell they're doing. Let's make this thing work for all of us. And Charlie was on today. Charlie got to help us hit the smart questions again, because Charlie, like I said, is a lot smarter than I am. And and if you're on YouTube channel or any of the channels that you can watch the video of this, you notice that we have a really cool looking piece of art, almost really awesome art. And the guy that did that for me, found him. His name, if I can pull it up here. His name, slow down with me. Trinity Killer. Check out Trinity Killer. Really, search him. Trinity, TRINITYKILLER. He created this for us. Really nice guy, and whipped it out in a couple of days. Looks like a Grand Theft Auto type of image that we made of Kyle. Check it out. A lot of fun talking with him again today. He's got some more stuff coming up. In fact, today, which is the 4th of May, they have a press release coming out, a newsletter that has got some great information on it. By the time you hear this, it would have already happened. So check out their site, MoriaToken.com. MoriaToken.com. Okay. And here is our interview with Kyle Forkey. Jumping through hurdles and getting through the muck of electronics and phones and everything. Oh man, we finally got our buddy Kyle back on. Hey man, how you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Right on, man. We last spoke, a couple months ago, and just wanted to find out how everything has been going for you guys.
It's been going really good. We closed down we closed the Moria ICO on February 24th. I can't publicly talk about the raise just yet, but we will be discussing that at a conference in the next, I think, month.
Oh yeah.
Because of that, that raise was successful. I've had a lot of other businesses approaching my company, Ethernet, about helping with their offerings, because everyone's kind of looking for that guiding light in the crypto space and trying to see how best to navigate it. So
yes. So how's that one going? By the way, hey, we have Charlie on. Charlie.
Hello, hi. How are you folks? Thank you for being with us, Kyle. This is Kyle Forkey from MoriaToken. We interviewed you in February, so quite a lot of things have happened in the intervening months. The one question I wanted to ask you, I know some people that listened to that interview wanted to ask as well. Tell us how a commodity-based token, how does that work? Is it the commodity itself, in this case gold, that is backing the token? And how does somebody participate in the mining of the commodity that you're working with through your token?
So the commodity that is backing the Moria token is not gold. is actually the company itself. So, say gold doubles in value. That may add confidence to the ability for GS Mining to net profits that quarter, which may see an uptick in the price of the token, but it is not directly correlated. What you're betting on by investing in Moria is that GS Mining will be able to make its performance quarterly commitments and pay out its dividends each quarter of that 5% of the ICO price, which is it works out to about 20 cents per token annually. So it's a very safe investment compared to most of the ICOs out there in that, if the market corrects really hard, you still guaranteed that 20% annually, so it's not really it doesn't have much room to fall. But you also are most likely not going to get that moonshot of 100 times because there's an actual quantitative value here that investors can analyze.
So that seems a little bit more stable.
It should be much more stable because at the end of the day, say you buy 100,000 Moria tokens, you can reasonably assume that each quarter you're going to get that $5,000 check. So if Bitcoin halves in value, that should have no effect on you, and if it does, then it's a good opportunity to buy more because then you can get even higher than 20%. You can get 40% if it was to cut in half for whatever reason, which would be extremely immature price action being reflected in the markets. And people that behave that way going forward are going to get burned.
Wow.
Now, Kyle, one of the things I think we need to differentiate, at least for me, is the difference between a royalty and a dividend. You're basically working with anybody who invests in your token, MoriaToken, is going to get a royalty as opposed to a dividend. Can you explain the differentiation or differentiate between the two?
That's something. So Franklin Levy, he's the CTO, or not the CFO of GS Mining Company, and we've gone over this a few times, and I am guilty of not retaining this information on whether or not this is a royalty or a dividend. So I can't explain the difference off the top of my head. I can't remember. I know we have it reflected in the white paper as actually a royalty. I think it has something to do with being based off of revenues versus profits, but I'm not totally sure off the top of my head.
Okay, thank you. Now, when you initially went with the token, with the ICO, it was in order to raise the funds to get the mine operative. Now, why was that a better method of doing things than opposed to the traditional ways of, let's say, for instance, issuing debt, or an IPO? What was it about the ICO that made it so much more effective?
So I think going forward, I think one of the main things crypto brings to the table is the fundraise itself. I think that the IPO model is going to go by the wayside in favor of ICOs because ICOs open up a much larger borderless pool of investors, as well as opens them up to 24/7 markets. So if you're a company looking to, IPO, you are, most likely in America anyway, going on the New York Stock Exchange, and you're going to have accredited investors vetted by the NYSE to invest in your project. Whereas if you go the ICO route, you have people in Asia, Germany, Japan, even third world countries, with like $50. Anyone can participate. So it just opens you up to a much broader audience, as well as enabling more liquidity because there's no 9 to 5, or what are the markets? 8 to 5, 9 to 5? I don't know off the top of my head, but that's 24/7 going all the time. So I think the ICO model is just more attractive overall. The only reason the only thing stopping it right now is the lack of regulation in the space. So if some big Wall Street hedge fund wanted to get in and participate in an ICO, there's custody issues, there's There's legal issues. There's a ton of issues barring those big firms from participating, because there's just no clarity in the space right now as to, what's a security, what's a utility token, does a utility token even exist? I mean, it's a very gray area. So for now, they're not participating. But I think probably in the next 5 years, ICOs are going to be one of the preferred methods for major companies to raise funds.
Now, what do you anticipate the SEC or the Securities and Exchange Commission doing going forward? I mean, what have you gotten any sort of insight as to what they might do? Because, for instance, in the state of Wyoming, for instance, Dina and I have done a story or a podcast about Wyoming has said, look, we're not going to regulate it, we're not going to tax it. It's pretty much something that we're not going to touch. But at the state level, the SEC is going to have probably a much different view of things as does the IRS. What do you think the SEC might be doing, or is that a fair question to even ask, and what they might be anticipating doing?
I think they're going to come down on most of the ICOs that were launched in 2017 that weren't compliant. I mean, if you go on Coinbase, they have a survey you can take to decide whether or not your ICO is in fact a security. And the very first question they ask, it's basically a Howey test, right? Just a Howey test put on their website. The first question they ask is, are you issuing a token for funds? And if you answer yes to that one question, you immediately get a 100 out of 100 score on whether or not you would be rated a security by the SEC. And I think we can agree that's pretty much the model every single ICO in the past 2 years has taken, save for a few airdrops. So I think the ICO or the SEC is going to come back. I don't think they're going to be, sending everyone to jail or anything like that, but I do think they're going to be finding a lot of companies, maybe making companies give money back. And I think they're going to, just enforce the same compliance that they put onto companies looking to IPO. I mean, I don't think there's going to be any difference.
Yeah, I talked to an attorney a few weeks ago that he has to deal with the SEC regularly, and he says they're not really as scary as a lot of people make it out to be. As long as you're trying to follow it, that they're pretty lenient with you as long as you're trying to follow most of the rules, and if you're not trying to hide things and you're not trying to sneak around, that they want to work with you.
Yeah, that's been my experience as well. I think I also am a partner in a crypto-based hedge fund, and our attorney works very closely with the SEC. And it seems to me, I agree with what you're saying. They're not like some scary monsters or anything lurking.
They're not like the IRS.
Yeah, they're not like the IRS, but. They're kind of looking to leaders in the community in the form of, larger funds, larger ICOs. They're looking towards leaders in the community to kind of help them navigate these waters, because, I mean, they're confused as well. This is technology is outpacing the laws that currently exist. So, it's fast paced for them, and they probably just need help trying to figure out what the right thing to do is.
Yeah, and they're dealing with laws, I guess, from like the 30s, right?
Yeah, the Securities Act was in 1933.
Yeah,
so
1933. Yeah.
That's what ICOs are contending with right now, is a law that's almost 100 years old.
That's ridiculous.
100 years old.
Yeah, well, that's how I got my job as a CPA. Thanks to the National, the Securities Act and Securities and Exchange Act of that period of time. That's what it kind of established the need for outside auditors to come in and, do the job of taking a look at corporations that trade. Ladies and gentlemen, we're speaking with Kyle Forkey. He is a principal at MoriaToken. We've been speaking to him about commodity-based ICE tokens and cryptocurrency. Kyle, one of the things that we've talked about, and one of the shows we've done repeatedly, is that, for instance, other countries around the world have a much more laissez-faire attitude towards cryptocurrencies. For instance, Germany is not going to have capital gains tax. Russia is considering not doing it either. Some of the Eastern European countries as well. Do you feel that maybe because of that, there's going to be more of a move towards those Eastern European countries for ICO, for the ICOs?
Yeah, of course. Most of my clients that want to launch ICOs, I mean, the very first thing they have in their head is, what country are we doing this out of? Doing it out of America isn't even an option. That's that's unfortunate. I'm hoping that our government can get its stuff together and embrace this technology a little bit more. I don't know if I agree with people not getting capital gains tax on their crypto. You have these people making $100 million on crypto. Why should they be taxed any different than other individuals? However, I don't know if I agree with what the American government constitutes an exchange. Like some people are starting to posture that maybe even just moving crypto to a different wallet could be a taxable event, which I think is outrageous.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. I've heard the same thing.
Yeah, so if that's the case, then if you're in the crypto world here, then participating in America makes zero sense, and you're almost being exiled to another country. You're not given an option at all. So I think America is going to fall behind if we don't change things. And to be honest, I don't see America changing things. I think that the countries that are embracing it now are just going to, like Japan, are just going to start taking leaps and bounds ahead of us in the crypto field.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I was at Investor Token this past week, Crypto Invest Summit in LA, and that was a lot of things that some people were bringing up. Was that there needs to be more people voicing this towards the government and getting a hold of local government, and just being more active and start a movement to get these laws changed. Because you think about it, if you have just a few dollars in your wallet and you're moving it back and forth, you're trading here and there, you're not making a whole lot of money. Before you know it, if you were taxing all that, you'd be out of money. You wouldn't have any money left.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it makes zero sense.
And I think a lot of it just comes from lack of understanding. Have you guys tried to explain crypto to someone that doesn't already have any kind of foundation?
Oh my God, it's like all trying to say, it's ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I've been working on this for years, and just trying to dilute it down into terms that other people can understand. Just the onboarding process is a nightmare. And trying to get these 70, 80-year-old guys in Congress to understand this is just equally as impossible. So I don't know. I don't see much of a way out without just a gradual.
That is such a great point, because we did a story. Well, I have a son who's a millennial, and Dean and I have done this story as well. One of the reasons cryptocurrency seems to be so, and blockchain seems to be so accessible to folks that are millennials, is that if you take a look at the traditional ways of investing, it's not really open to folks that are 30 and under. The price of homes, the stock, any of those things that you considered, or 401ks, pension plans, things that people like Dean and I, our generation, would consider standard operating fare, isn't open to millennials. And it would seem to me that there's this generational gap. I know it seems kind of a cliche, but between what you're saying, the 80-year-olds that are probably setting our laws, or at least doing some of our regulation, and those that are younger, there's just a different perception of how to build wealth, what wealth is, and how we're going to proceed forward in terms of increasing value.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like I said in the beginning, I think one of the foundational value propositions of crypto is its ability to open up the doors for investment for anybody. Even in the Moria ICO that I helped with, we had people in South Africa throwing in like $20 or $10, and like, hey, this is a great project. This is all my savings for the month. I hope you guys do well.
Oh my gosh!
Wow. Yeah. So I mean, and I hope we do well for their sake. Also,
yeah.
Traditionally, how is that individual going to invest otherwise if crypto didn't exist? What's he going to do? He's going to go get registered with a stock trade account with his minimum $5,000 balance and start buying stocks? No. So, yeah, I think crypto is a great tool for that, and it's going to open up wealth creation for the masses. So.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's if you're not already rich, you're not going to get rich. And people who are they don't have any kind of great ideas that they're going to pitch and become instant millionaires. You're just a normal everyday person. You're just going to plan on living like this the rest of your life. And I think this is the first time in many years that anything's come along that people could get involved with that could save your life.
Yeah, I have quite the vision as to where I see all of this technology ending up. But I think businesses are going to start to primarily exist in like a tokenized form. We're talking decades away, but and I foresee individuals participating in their own environments. So if you're someone that goes to Dunkin' Donuts every day, you just love Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
You may want to purchase Dunkin' Donuts stock, right? Maybe it makes sense for you because you're kind of participating in that, and maybe it's mitigates your expenses there in that one field. Dunkin' Donuts was to exist in a tokenized form, and you didn't have to go set up a stock account with a huge balance and buy expensive stocks with brokerage fees and everything like that. Maybe you just pick up 100 Dunkin' Donuts tokens. There you go. You're permanently hedging yourself against the business you interact with every day.
Yeah.
You take that, multiply it times 100. You invest in, you buy cars from, Cheddar. You buy clothes from, Nike, whoever, and you just participate in all these companies, and it just opens up this massive pool of liquidity where investors can invest in things that they interact with on a daily basis.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So, man, you've been pretty active on Telegram, and I know whenever I occasionally cruise by the by you guys' site there or your channel on Telegram,
Mm-hmm.
you're pretty active on there.
Yeah, it's we don't have any community managers we've hired or brought on board yet. So in the meantime, we're trying to get to 20,000 members in the next 2 months, which is going to require a big push.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, yeah, it's a manageable community, and I can still talk to everyone. So,
but how many members do you have right now?
We're still sub 200. We have we brought on a new marketing team, and we've been kind of laying low, building up our press releases for the next few months, as well as our game plan going forward. So we haven't really been trickling out information, but starting with this newsletter we have coming out later this afternoon, the information is going to start to hit like a ton of bricks, and we're going to start promoting on the road, going to conferences, maybe hosting our own conferences.
Really?
Yeah, it's going to be a big push. This is a pretty legitimate project, and we're not going to let it go by the wayside by not doing any marketing. I mean, there's tons of legit projects that I think should be worth probably 10 times more than they are, but because they have no presence and don't interact with their community at all,
yeah,
completely stuck.
So you guys have a press release coming out today, as you said?
Yes, later this afternoon. It's either a newsletter or press release.
Newsletter.
Sure.
Wow.
But yeah. So.
Well, you heard it here, folks.
Yeah, so.
And of course, this is not going to come out for a couple of days, so it's already been released by the time people hear this.
Yeah.
And
ladies and gentlemen, go ahead. I just wanted to back announce, ladies and gentlemen, we're speaking with Kyle Forkey. He is the principal at MoriaToken. He's given us an insight into the world of cryptocurrencies, where it's headed and where it's going. Kyle, one question I wanted to ask you. Do you feel that there's going to be more mining companies or more commodity-based companies that might be using the ICO method to raise money, raise capital in order to get going? Where do you see that future going, specifically in the mining industry?
Specifically in the mining industry. So when you say mining, you're talking like not crypto mining, correct? You're talking like
no. I'm sorry.
Mining?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the reason I'm asking, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Well, the reason I ask is because so many of the people that I talk to invest in precious metals. They, specifically gold and silver. And they told me all the same thing when I tried to introduce the idea of cryptocurrency. They say, well, why don't I just go hold the material? Why should I go and do this? And I said, well, because for one thing, it's a different type of investment and a way of being able to hedge. Just actually, because on many of these people, they just hold the stuff. They don't get involved with ETFs or mining stuff. They just go buy the stuff. And it would seem to me that this would be a ready-made audience for cryptocurrency, or at least an attempt to inroad with this growing element of investing.
I think so. I think things like gold and silver will exist. Well, they already exist in tokenized form. I mean, yeah, you can buy a gold brick and have it shipped to your house and put it in your safe. If you ever want to, spend any of that gold, it's going to be very difficult, which is where tokens come in. And, if you own 1 million tokens that represent, a millionth of a gold bar, then, you have pure liquidity and you can send some of your gold to a, dude in China for his, something he's making. And that liquidity is important, but I think a lot of the individuals that are huge gold bugs and, gold investors, that's just not the demographic that is into crypto or even remotely understands it. So there's a bridge there that, needs to be made, and it just doesn't really exist yet. It's pretty much the only thing I'm working on is trying to connect the traditional investment world with crypto. I mean, I think Moria was a good start, because I did have a lot of, traditional investors, Wall Street guys, invest in this project that would have absolutely not invested in crypto otherwise, because, the idea of Bitcoin, what is it? I mean, I really don't even know what Bitcoin is or why. I mean, it's just a confusing, just a real idea of consensus. And, people don't get that, and that's fine. But, you have a token with high liquidity and a wallet you can control that, is legal ownership of a real asset in the real world. People get that. And it makes sense. And to answer your earlier question about do I see more mining companies do this, it's not just mining companies. I think in probably the next 20 years, I think that's going to be the ICO, and raising funds through crypto is going to be the primary method of capital raising.
Wow. You're in Florida still, right? West Palm Beach? There was a big conference out there, a couple of weeks ago or last week or something in Miami?
Yeah, that was, what, are you talking about Bitcoin Miami? There's another one. There's been a few. I think I've been to all of them, though.
Are you? So you're going to them?
Yeah. Anytime there's a local conference, I try to make it. I don't think I've missed any in the past couple months.
Have you guys been putting up booths?
Maybe once, not quite.
Are you guys participating in these, or are you just hanging out?
So my my primary business is my company ETHMint, and we help companies capital raise through ICO. Moria was just our first client.
Yeah.
That we helped. So after the ICO closed, we have not been actively promoting for Moria. We're like I said, still building this. We're trying to build up a grassroots presence through these press releases and newsletters, and we have videos coming out, tutorials on how to buy it. Tons of content for our investors, and we kind of want to release that all at once, as well as like a paid road show where myself and a few other members of the team go around and talk to people. But in the meantime, I've just been working with ETHMint, talking to new clients, building out that company.
What kind of guys would come to you? If we had some people that we wanted to turn on to you, what kind of guys would we send to you?
People looking to launch a compliant ICO. We don't take any customers that want to, operate out of the Seychelles or anything. We don't take any customers that are just trying to do a cash grab for, whatever outrageous idea they have at the time. Yeah. So we're trying to take primarily focus on real existing companies or real existing ideas that want to hopefully issue equity to their investors. That's something I want the next ICO we launch to have, because there's a new ERC standard where you can actually tokenize shares of Delaware corporations. And I would really like to issue equity over the blockchain for our next project.
Wow. And so you guys have had a lot of stories like on CoinDesk, Crypto Coin News, Yahoo Finance, the Merkle.
Yeah. The idea of raising funds for a real company, last year sounded crazy. No one wanted to hear it, but this year, securitized ICOs are becoming all the rage.
They are, man. They're going crazy.
Yeah.
And people smell money, and they start running towards it.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. So we're gonna have to send you a logo for Crypto the Wonder Dog to put on your site here to let everybody know that you've been part of this family too.
Oh,
man.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love it. One of the things that Dean and I try and do when we talk to people about cryptocurrency is that we try and break it down. There's two elements here: is cryptos, which are pretty much the algorithms and the mechanism, but there's also the currency part of it. And the funny thing about it is, I think the idea of currency, or how a currency works, is even as opaque and as hard to understand for most people. We take it for granted. But as I've told other people, look, your dollar isn't really backed by anything more than what any cryptocurrency is as well. The currencies have been debased around the world, and this is a new way of being able to look where there's peer-to-peer understanding of what value might be coming, and you have to be able to prove to people that something is zero value. Whereas with the dollar, that just doesn't exist, as well as with other paper currencies. Do you think that there's going to be some do you feel that when the dollar does implode, if it does, that's going to be the catalyst that's going to lead people to cryptocurrencies?
No. I feel like, if anything, I think crypto's adoption is probably going to be the catalyst that causes the dollar to implode. I don't think it'll happen vice versa. I think if the dollar did implode first, say the dollar imploded, tomorrow, there's not going to be a mass immigration to crypto. There's just going to be, financial ruin, and people largely just don't really know about crypto. How many people actually hold crypto? Less than 1% still? I'm not.
Yeah. It's like less than 1%. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not like those other, even another 50% are gonna be like, well, better buy Bitcoin. They're just going to, accept their fate. Like, probably.
Yeah.
But I think, if they're over the next few years, if we do continue to have a large migration to people using crypto, I think people are just going to indirectly devalue the dollar themselves by not using it. I, for example, don't really use my bank account anymore. I have a couple $1,000 here, but I mean, it doesn't really do anything for me. You have Swift cards, which can you can pay for meals and things at restaurants with crypto. They convert it for you and handle all that. I have some of my employees. I'm going to be switching over to crypto, paychecks in crypto. You can pay your mortgage in crypto now. There's really no reason to have a bank account for people in my field, in my area. You go to San Francisco. I mean, you guys are over there. There's tons of people that literally don't have bank accounts at all.
That's crazy.
So you have people that, they never interact with actual U.S. dollars at any point. So once people kind of start to realize, hey, I have full control of all my assets. No, government agency can come and freeze all my assets because I didn't pay a $100 IRS bill or something like that. I mean, it's freeing and it's better in my opinion.
Yeah. I'm excited about it. I go to these crypto conferences. I was just at the like I said, the one in LA, and it's so cool to be around all those people that come from all these different corners of life, that they're all coming together in this one area. And another cool thing is that you're meeting so many more people. You're meeting people that have a common interest, and everyone's so cool and happy, and everyone's very excited about this, man.
Yeah, I love conferences. They're great. I try to hit all of them, and they're great networking opportunities for me. I meet tons of clients and connections, and they're an absolute must. I feel like if anyone's interested in working in this field.
Oh yeah, and they're fun, man. They're fun.
Yeah, they are.
And the after parties are great too, man.
They are.
That alcohol just seems to flow freely, man.
You got all these 20-year-olds that made $10 million last week.
They tend to do.
Open bar for everyone, man. Oh boy.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're speaking with Kyle Forkey. Kyle is a principal at MoriaToken, a crypto token that's working with specifically Bates with a mine in Colorado, but
and Ethmint too. And Ethmint.
Yeah, yep. And Ethmint. One of the things I just wanted to ask Cal, like I said, I run into a lot of people when I talk to them about cryptocurrencies, and the one thing that they always ask is, well, where do I get started knowing about this? Where would I look to at least begin to try and figure this out? What advice would you give a novice and say, okay, start here and work your way forward?
People have I've been asked that quite a few times, and I actually put together a reading list that I give to friends and random people I meet that want to know more about crypto. I just have this text full of links that I send to them. But I guess as a general overview, it seems to me, weirdly enough, that the best place to learn about crypto is on Twitter, which kind of sounds like it sounds crazy, but there's books, right? You can get Mastering Bitcoin, and you can get like a really low level understanding of Bitcoin, which I don't think most people need. There's Mastering Ethereum. I don't know if that's been released yet, but the problem with those is that everything they're talking about is outdated almost immediately because things are changing so fast. Like if you started a book today and had it published in a month, everything you're saying, might not be the case anymore. And it seems to me like all of the pioneers in the crypto industry are all, I don't know if it's causal or it's effect, but it seems like all the pioneers in the industry are very prominent on Twitter.
Wow.
And are constantly putting out new ideas and things that, maybe the space should focus on and change. But I think if you had a feed full of maybe you followed 40 decent crypto personalities, you probably have a great feel for where the space is and the types of things to look for. I mean, Reddit is good. You'll enter into an echo chamber of sorts because people want to protect their investment, and that's maybe not, good for you if you're also an investor. You don't want to blind yourself. But Reddit can have some quality quality content for the blockchains. I also recommend just trying to buy your first piece of crypto and move it to an exchange. Literally, just doing that is gives people tons of confidence.
Oh yeah.
They go onto Coinbase, they buy their first Bitcoin or ETH. It's a struggle. They make their first wallet and they send it to the wallet. Maybe they send it to the wrong wallet and lose some, and it sucks. But
yep.
Once they get it, once they actually buy, blue chip crypto, move it to an exchange or something, trade it for a smaller crypto, they're just a lot more comfortable in the space. And then once they know that, I have the ability to invest in these assets, then they kind of want to know more about the assets, because on the surface, if they don't feel like they can buy them in the first place, then there's no point in learning about them.
No, yeah.
So maybe I jumped the gun there. The first thing people usually need to do is buy and interact with crypto. After that, you can start to learn about it.
Yeah. Do you usually send them to?
I appreciate it.
Do you usually send them to like Coinbase first?
I send them to Coinbase. It's if they're a little more computer savvy, I'll send them to GDAX. But I mean, Coinbase has pretty high fees, but it makes it about as grandma friendly as you possibly can.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. But I did notice that whenever I was when I first got in, and I was moving stuff here and there out of Coinbase, and I just kept losing money. I'm like, where's my money going? And I realized, oh crap, you got to pay to move your money. What?
Yep.
So yeah.
So once people clear that first step, though, it opens up the possibilities.
Yeah, and then you start learning about things like ERC20 wallets and my crypto wallet, or what is that one? Oh shoot, I forgot the name of it. My Ether wallet, yes. And then having things like MetaMask, and then adding coins to that. That's a learning curve too, man. And then not only adding them, but when you want to get those out of your thing, I didn't know that until yesterday, how to get them out. I had to watch a video on YouTube on actually how to move my tokens out of my MetaMask into an exchange. That took about 30 minutes my day.
Yeah, I'd say if Coinbase is level 1, I'd say MetaMask is that's level 3.
Yeah, there's a big jump. There's a big jump.
It's great, I love it, but I would never try to get my mom to use MetaMask. It just wouldn't go well.
No, it wouldn't. Yeah, they are going to have to dumb down a lot of this stuff. It's like going from MS-DOS to Windows.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
One of my most interesting revelations when using this stuff last year, making my own wallets, was that you can literally create your own. I guess I just didn't understand fundamentally the whole cryptographic aspect of it. But do either of you guys use cold storage wallets or?
No, not yet. In fact,
no.
What's that one? Trezor is. They want to be a sponsor of the show, and so they're sending me a couple of their cold wallets. So it'll be my first experience using one.
Lucky dog. Those are great.
Are they?
So hard to get. Yeah. Trezors are nice.
Oh, really? Okay.
But so whenever you're making a cold storage wallet, you're given a 24-word seed phrase.
Oh my
and that's
God.
your backup phrase. And that is, if you lose that, you've essentially lost the keys to your wallet. I mean, you still have the Trezor, but if something happens to it and you don't have your seed phrase, you're done for.
Oh my God.
So you definitely have to back up that seed phrase. Either put it in a safe, tell a trusted friend. I mean, you got to do something with it. You just can't lose it. But it was interesting to me when I realized I could just make my own seed phrase. You just take, if you find the repository of words, I think it's 120 different words that can be used. Put them in any combination you want. You now have your own unique wallet that you just created in your head.
Oh, okay. You can't use just any word that you want then, right?
You can't use any word you want. No.
Okay.
Like you said, there's a repository. I'm sure if you looked up like cold storage word repository or something, it would pop up for ERC20 wallets. But yeah, it's like 120, maybe 124 words. Either way, you can arrange them in any order you want, any 24 of them, and that's your own unique wallet.
I think
it would be as random as a cold storage wallet.
It'd be kind of cool if you could like just take music lyrics, so you'd never forget that. Just throw a music lyric in there.
Yeah, I've come up with some pretty clever ways to hide my key phrase in plain sight. Yeah. I won't say it on here.
Yeah, I was going to say you probably won't tell anybody what that is. You want to keep that secret. Yeah.
Yeah, there's pretty clever, funny ways of doing it.
Yeah. Well, dude, it's been great having you on again, man. And we look forward to that newsletter coming out today. We're going to check it out, and then we're going to advise everyone who's listening to this in anywhere in the world except the U.S. to go and buy yourself some Moria tokens. MoriaToken.com. And jump on to Telegram, right? And give Kyle a shout out. Ask him what up.
Yeah, it's been great being on here. I look forward to the next invite. Hopefully, I've accomplished something else interesting by then that we can talk about.
Right on, cool, man. Yeah, we'll keep
that'd be great.
Keep up to date on your FMint and what new companies are going to be jumping on board. And I'm sure that if we get anybody that can help out, or we can help out, we'll absolutely send them to you so you can point them in the right direction and keep them square and legal.
Oh, of course.
Cool. All right, Kyle, it's been great talking with you, man. I'll talk to you soon, man.
All right, great talking to you guys.
All right,
later.
Thank you, Kyle. Take care.